Well, we're sitting here right now in Sugar Mill campground, and we used to live probably a quarter mile up here beside the highway. And my dad made moonshine, but he made it over on the side of Lake Burton, one of the streams. I remember my dad coming in one night about 1 o'clock in the morning and beating on the door, and Nanny opened the door, and he said, "Don't turn the light on, they're right behind me." Well, my dad said when he went up there to start working that still that night, he reached over and pulled a canvas off of the jars because they put a canvas on to keep them dry. He reached over and pulled that canvas out, and that man come out with a hand and said, "I got you, you son of a bitch." He says, "You ain't got shit." Oh, he hit the road. He was quick. He didn't weigh 100 pounds. He was quick. He was over yonder on Burton Mountain, 2 miles back that way, and we lived at the 1 mile back that way. He had to run 3 miles around the side of the lake with the lake down and outrun them son of a bitch. And he come back in there and told Nanny, said, "Don't open the doors, don't turn the lights on, they're right behind me." Well, when the Narks had found you, you got to move, because they'll come back the next night and they'll sit there for a week or two until they get you or you give up. I learned a little bit because my dad didn't want me in that business. But I still quizzed him when we'd be fishing sometimes, and I'd quizzed him, and I learned some of the answers that I didn't have. Mm-hmm. And when I learned those answers, then I was wide open. Papa's still was about big as, it wasn't half as big as that ice cooler over there. And I worked down toward Clarksville on 1 or 2 little jobs down there. Mm-hmm. And it was pans, we called it, because it wasn't in a big old damn pan, and you put everything in there, bring it up to a certain temperature, and in 3 days, when it clears back down, it's time to put a cap on it then and get the alcohol. Alcohol comes out first, and then you got slop shit comes out of it next, but you don't run that because you can't drink it. So I'd run out the decent liquor in it in a big tub, and I would take it and then run it into milk jugs, and I drank a little of it too. But that's what I'd do right then, and I'd haul it to Kirkwood, Georgia, and I had milk jugs, and I had a lady in Cleveland, Georgia, that was going to the dump every day and washing milk jugs for me. And then I found a connection where I could buy new ones. And then I started buying new jugs. And then I didn't have to wash them or nothing. All I had to do was take the lid off of it, fill it full. Mm-hmm. And then I had an old Ford that was quicker than them Lightning. The Summits was quick, had 429 in it. And I'd load that Ford slap full. I didn't have a front seat in it. I had a half a front seat in it. And then I had there wasn't no back seat, and there wasn't anything in there but milk jugs all the way to the top. Then we put a blanket over top of it and a couple of little teddy bears or something on top of it and go on down the road. You couldn't advertise a loaded Ford, a loaded car. You couldn't advertise it. You had to go down the road with the traffic, and you had to go down there, and then when I get to Kirkwood, I'd pull in this guy's garage, and he would turn the lights on and close the door, and we'd set it all out there in his garage. and he'd count the jugs, and he'd pay me for it.
What did you do to the car, though? I mean, what did you physically do to the car to make that happen?
Well, the first thing is it's got to be damn fast. Not because you're not going to outrun anybody, but it's because you're carrying, I don't know what water weighs a gallon, but moonshine don't weigh any less.
What you never told me, though, was how you built up the suspension. What did you do, double up on the coils, on the suspension coils, or what did you do?
I didn't like coils because they bounce too much. Then you had to double shock it where it wouldn't bounce. If it bounces going down the road, they're going to pull your ass over and see what you're carrying anyway. So I didn't go that way. I just, what I did was I put some blocks under there, steel, and when it get down, set down on them down blocks, all you had then was the car would be bouncing. I'd put shocks under it, and if I needed to, I'd put some extra long leaf springs. I'd cut the damn hangers off the ends of them and put them on there, and I'd take them down to Clarksville to a machine shop, and he would straighten them for me. He'd put them in the press and bend them out straight. And when the car got loaded down to straight, it didn't go any lower. It would sit right there. And that would get you on down to where you was at. And of course, when you came back, you was running down near empty. And then I'd run down to Deliverance, Georgia, and I had a dealer down there around a grocery store, and I'd buy 60-pound bags of sugar. I'd buy 6 or 8 or 10 of them, whatever I needed. And then I didn't drive them out to where the steel house was at. I lived in my house up there in my store, and I'd load up one on my shoulders, weighed 60 pounds, and every morning about daylight, I'd crack out across the road there and walk all the way over there and cut right across the hill. Had a foot log down there to walk across the creek on. I'd walk on out through there, and I'd see how stuff was. And if it was almost ready to run, I said, well, I got to work tonight. So I'd have to go buy bottles of propane gas, and I could buy it up in Clayton at a deal, and I'd go up there and buy it. I had a 63 Ford, and I was going up there to get some propane gas, and I got in a damn curve in the rain and crashed the shit out of it, and I thought it'd kill me, but it didn't. I just crawled out and hid the damn bottles I had and called a wrecker, and he come pull my ass out. And I went back home.
You think those bottles are still there?
I don't know. I didn't go back. You couldn't have drug me up there with them coming on.
So you always watched your trail then? I mean, you always watched your ass.
You got to know what's going on around you. You got to know how many people knows what you're doing, and you don't hire help. Now, if you hire help, help will tell on you. When a man grabs help and he's got a little traffic violation, he'll tell on your ass, and they'll be sitting there waiting on you.
So it was a one-man band. You did it all yourself then?
Well, I damn near did it. Didn't have a big choice on it. I tried to hire a guy one time, and he run his mouth too much, and I beat the hell out of him with a goddamn stick and ran him off. And I did. And he didn't know what the hell he was doing. He wouldn't do what I said do. And if I can't make money on a job like that, I don't need to be in the woods.
Yeah.
I don't need to be out there. I need to be down there flirting with some little old blonde-headed girl somewhere. Well, if they'd known I was doing it, there's no way I could avoid them, because they'll go over there and sit down and watch you through binoculars. Because I went on top of the mountain one time and went up there, and I could see little sandwich bags stuck under a log, and where their elbows rested on the glass while they was watching me work.
What do you do then? You just leave the location for a few days, or what?
You're going to have to change the location, because they'll be back. That's what they get paid for, is to stop illegal liquor being made. They want the government to make all of it and get all the money for it.
Well, what would they do to your steel if they found it then?
Oh, they did find it after a while, but they slipped in from the top of the mountain, and they put some kind of little bottles of purple shit in it, about that damn big, And when it went off, I was working on my mom's house, and I thought the earth was coming to end.
How long was it before you went out there to check what they did then?
About 2 weeks. You wouldn't get my ass over there.
So you pretty much knew what happened then, I guess.
Oh, I didn't have a question in it. And after about 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I walked over there about daylight one morning, waited till daylight come, and then looked over and seen half of it hanging in the trees. And it pissed me off because they ruined my business. The son of a bitches. But it pissed me off because they ruined my damn business. And God, the government makes all the liquor and charge the hell out of us for it. And we can't make it, though, see? There was people starving to death down there back then. I mean, there wasn't any money. You couldn't make any money. It was a hard life, Brady. There wasn't no easy life in it. You was on needles and pins all the damn time.